Do you ever feel like an imposter? Like one day someone's just going to find out that it's all not true? Hi, I'm Sam Nordberg. Welcome to this week's mini training, and this week we're talking about imposter syndrome, that feeling you get when you're feeling like perhaps you're an imposter, like perhaps you're not the person people think you are, and perhaps you're not good enough, you're not enough, and whatever else it might be. You see, I was doing a recording for a podcast last week. It's called Not Another Small Business Show. If you haven't heard of it, go find it. My bits aren't live yet. Go find it just because it's good. But I was doing this recording for Not Another Small Business Show, and I was asked by Tracy, who is the lady who does the interviews, if I've ever felt like an imposter. And I stopped for a moment and thought about it, and then my answer was, I'm yet to meet a person who doesn't. And it's true, I do, and every other woman I've ever spoken to, and most of the men, go through periods of time where they feel like an imposter. That means they feel like what they're putting out to the world says they're this amazing person that's got all their shit together, and on the inside they feel like it's not necessarily true. I've been there, I'm sure you've been there too. You see, this imposter syndrome thing, it's not because you're not good enough. It's not because you don't have all your shit together, although I don't have mine, and a friend of mine, Amanda, shared a wonderful picture with me last week of someone hugging all their shit. It's the only time I ever feel like I've got all my shit together. I have to share the picture with you, it's disgusting. But the thing is that no one does. No one feels that perfect because no one is that perfect. So what I want to do is stop for a moment and talk about this imposter syndrome thing, because it's this opportunity we give ourselves to hide, to give up, to run away because we feel like we're not doing it right, we don't know enough, we're not enough, and all of those different sorts of things. And you know what? It's sad. It's sad that we let ourselves do that to ourselves because there's no need to. Wow, these videos have been really honest recently, haven't they? So what I want to talk to you about today is every time that you feel imposter syndrome, I want you to write it down. I want you to get really committed. I want you to write down about why you're feeling like an imposter and what you feel like the gap is between what you're pretending to be or what you're supposed to be, and that's a whole nother conversation, and where you feel like you are. Because that's all it is. When you feel like that, it's because you feel like there is a gap between the things you should be doing and what you are doing, or a gap between the things that you say you can do and what you can do. It's just a gap, and all you've got to do is work out what that gap is and then work out if it's actually real. As an example, someone might come to me and say that they feel like they need another qualification, they don't know enough and they need to learn more. So what happens is their imposter syndrome is telling them that they're supposed to know all these things and they feel like they don't, so they want to go and study some more. Now that's great, but what we've got to do is work out if that gap is real. So yes, okay, maybe they do have some holes in their knowledge or their experience, and yes, coming and doing a course might be a great option for them. Or, and this is what happens most of the time, is the reality is there isn't a gap. It's a gap they perceive, but it's not really there. And when I talk to them and I find out some things, I find that really they do know that stuff already and they don't need to come and take another course. They just need to recognize their own skills because they are already there. So that's my little rant for today on imposter syndrome. I want you to be really brutally honest with me now and comment down below. Have you ever had the feeling like you're not enough, the feeling like you don't know enough, the feeling like you're hiding somewhere, the feeling of imposter syndrome? Just be really open and honest with me and share with me down below because I'd love to hear your side of the story too. And as always, I will see you in the next video.